Ross, thanks for inviting me into your practice hall. Firstly, before we get on to you and the season and what's to come, talk to us about this hall, how you acquired it and why you ended up here.
Yeah, so basically this area is quite historic. You've got the old Dalrymple estate, which was one of the old sort of elite families in Scotland from hundreds of years ago living across the road, and this was a church linked into that estate, and next door there's an old school which we're living in as well. So yeah, it's a very historical area, and we're right on the beach as well. We're right on the waterfront, and yeah, it's fantastic. You know, every day having that environment, walking out the house, coming over here. I always go up to the bank and just have a wee look out and just sort of clear my mind before coming in. So yeah, I love having this as my daily practice.
You mentioned earlier about the Scottish Open in Edinburgh, the first time back in Edinburgh since 2003. How important is that for not only snooker in Edinburgh but also for snooker in Scotland?
It's absolutely huge. Going there on Monday and seeing the size of the crowd for the opening day was just fantastic, and I've read that there's some sellouts coming up as well for the sessions for the rest of the week. So absolutely amazing to see that level of interest in snooker, and I think it can only grow. Like year by year, it'll only get bigger and more interest. I think it was not far away from the old venue from 2003. The old venue, I think, was just around the corner from there. So going back to the sort of historical home for the old Scottish Open as well is great.
Where is Scottish snooker as a whole? I asked that question because there were no Scottish players in the last 16 of the UK Championship in York this season for the first time since 1987. Where do you see the Scottish game at the minute?
Still got some of the best players in the world, like John, Anthony, Stevie, Graham. There's still guys right up there. So I think still in a very good place. It'd be great to see a lot more juniors. Even thinking back to when I was a junior, there was still a decent field. Maybe 80 to 100 in junior events, whereas these days in Scotland, I think you're maybe getting between 10 and 20. So it's a big drop in numbers, but there's still some good players there. So hopefully a few of these guys can come through and be the future of Scottish snooker as well. It's at the end of the day, these guys that are at the top at the moment are not going to be there forever. So it'd be great to see some new junior Scottish players coming through to try and fight to be the top Scottish player.
Did you feel pressure when you were first playing the game and coming up through the ranks, that pressure or perhaps the burden of trying to emulate the likes of John, Stephen Hendry, Graham Dott, etc.?
I didn't really feel it as a pressure. I just felt like it's tough to be elite in a sport, so you can never feel pressure that you have a right to do that. Like, I think you should enjoy the challenge to see how close you can get to these guys, because these guys are right at the top. So I've seen it more as a sort of challenge and an enjoyment to see how close I can get, and having them there as a role model it's amazing. And I practiced with John and Graham, so having that there to see up close and be able to learn from them it's been career changing for me as well. And every day you go and practice, you learn something new, and it's they're definitely idols of mine. And when I was a kid growing up watching them on TV, I could only dream at that stage to be practicing with them. So it's a great honour as well.
You're into the German Masters in February after qualifying in November. What a performance in the qualifiers to get past Oliver Brown and Liam Highfield. You must have been delighted with that.
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted. It's one of the venues that I'd always wanted to qualify for. I remember a few years ago losing in the second round decider against Ali Carter to qualify, being so gutted and thinking I want to really make it to that venue. It's just phenomenal. The atmosphere is always looking incredible on the TV, and Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted to be there now and to experience that. It's something that I'm going to enjoy every single second of, and hopefully a few more wins there as well. I'm not going there just to enjoy the experience. It's the last 32, so it's about pushing forward and seeing how deep I can go into that tournament.
And you took the qualifying place of Ronnie O'Sullivan. How did that call come about? Were you surprised? Where were you at the time when you got it?
I was actually practicing with John Higgins, and on lunch break I've looked at my phone and I've had 10 missed calls from World Snooker, my
Thinking,
partner.
what have I done wrong?
Yeah, I'm thinking, what's going on here? So, to get the call and say that you've got a spot was fantastic.
Top of the Q Tour rankings, you won the opening Q Tour event of the season, the North East Snooker Centre. Top spot gets a tour card next season. Reckon it's yours?
I'm very confident. I think these days I put that much work in. My game's in a good shape that it takes a big performance to beat me. I'm pretty confident I'm going to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. And if I'm not, I can say for sure that I've gave it everything and I've worked as hard as I can do. So, fingers crossed the small fractions go in my favour, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. These guys are great players. George, Farrick, Martin O'Donnell, some really great players in there. So, you just got to hope these small fractions go in your favour in the crucial moments. And let's see how it goes on.
Well, all the best for that, Ross. Should we have a hit?
Yeah, sounds good. I'm probably not really down Judd's line of exhibition shots at the end of the frame. I always like to sort of pot every ball and score as many points as I can. Judd does it anyway, even with exhibition shots. But I just like clearing the table. I like having nice tight control of the cue ball and just hitting the ball nice, regardless of how easy or difficult a shot it is. That's what I get a real buzz from, just hitting that ball well and knowing that you've got total control over the shot.
Are you trying to replicate a match scenario as much as possible, or if you get a shot wrong, you go, no, I'm going to pull that back and I'm going to have a go again?
Yeah, I normally give it another go, but then start from scratch. There's, I think that's quite a big thing when you're practicing, not to just continue with it. Do the shot, then sort of get that out of your system, knowing that you've struck it well, and then go back to the beginning and restart whatever you were doing. I think that's quite crucial for even training yourself to know that's what you've got to do. You've got to clear the table, you've got to get every shot right. There's no get out of jail free cards halfway through a routine.
Yeah, you don't just go sit down on the chair and wait 5 minutes as if your opponent's and then pop back up again.
Not a bad idea. I might need to give that a go.
Snooker fans would have spotted the glove. They know it's something you wear regularly. Why do you wear it?
So now that there's not really a direct reason for wearing it, other than I'm just used to it. Before, when I was younger, I used to have really sweaty hands. So that was the sort of initial reason for getting it. So yeah.
Do you ever wear it outside of this room?
Well, only at tournament venues.
So what are we trying to do here? Are you focusing red black as much as possible?
I don't really set specific goals when it comes to that. It's initially just a warm up that I do this for. It's just getting the cue arm going. If you can stay on the black, great. If not, a pink to middle or a blue or something, it's okay. It's just to get the arm flowing, and then you can move on to more difficult routines afterwards.
Cool. Well, let's see you try.
I'll give it a try. Terrible cue ball, a lot more practice to do.
Ross, happy with that?
A lot more work to do.
You said you're not one for perhaps the Judd Trump exhibition shots, but that last to get onto the black was pretty good.
Pure cue ball, that's the way I look at it. If you have to play one of those, then you've got to be a lot tighter on the cue ball.
You can have a look at the cameras and we can do an analysis session after. Ross, thanks for your time today, I really appreciate it.
Great, thanks a lot, cheers.